The Boston Celtics wrapped up the best record in the NBA. The Celtics wrapped up the best record in the NBA April 3rd. The playoffs don't start until April 20th. So they're not the most focused team right now. Maybe that used to be the case. But the NBA has changed, and here's one of the things that's become noticeable over the last 3 years, 4 years. J-Mac and I think you've touched on this. The three-point shot not only rules the world, but if you're an offensively gifted team, Golden State, OKC, to me, Boston, you can play poorly and have a big fourth-quarter surge of threes now that 5 out of 5 starters can hit them. It's a life raft on bad nights. So teams like Boston can mail it in, get outplayed, and have a 5-minute run late third quarter and end up blowing out a team by double digits. That wasn't the way it was in Barkley's day or Shaq's day. The Lakers may have had 1 3-point shooter, maybe 2, a Kobe, a Derek Fisher. Or in Barkley's day, he could hit a three-pointer. Maybe Kevin Johnson could. But it's different now. Teams go on these massive runs. I mean, we had an NBA team with Kevin Durant and Booker on it that trailed 34-5 at home this week. You regularly see in the NBA a team down 20 early and they win by 10 late. It happens all the time. By the way, I love Shaq, but he was perpetually distracted, and Barkley was not known for laser focus either. Michael Jordan had criticized him to his face and behind his back, saying, "You're just too distracted. You're not committed enough." So the Boston Celtics led the NBA in blowouts. They were 39-11 against the East. This is human nature. They take their foot off the gas. It happens all the time. And it happens all the time in the NBA now. So when I look at Boston, my issues with Boston aren't because the top 5 or 6 teams in the NBA are a mile ahead of the bottom 10. This is not the NFL where you may have Carolina's really awful and maybe one other team's a mess. In the NBA, 10 teams at the bottom cannot compete with the 6 teams at the top. It's not even, the rosters aren't close. And so my takeaway is, in the three-point world we live in, when you wrap the best record up 17 days before the playoffs, it's not like the Knicks are a bad team. The Knicks are a playoff team, frankly better since Julius Randle got hurt. They're better. And so I get it. And I don't think it's a lack of care. I think it's a reality of the three-point shot. If you're offensively gifted, you can fall asleep, come back in the third quarter, a 4-minute run. You see runs in the NBA now, and not only do you see 20-4 runs, they happen in 3 minutes. I'm at the Laker game the other night. J-Mac and I are Lakers-Warriors. Warriors had 4 shot possessions. They come back with 12 points. It's a minute and a half. Didn't used to happen. By the way, not just in sports, but all the time, successful people, men and women in America, retire, get bored, and then start another company or go back to work. It happens all the time. Retirement is overrated for people who love their work and people that are good at their work. The longer you do something, especially if later in your career you can surround yourself with young, smart, techie people who can keep you current, you know. So Tom Brady surrounds himself, right, nutritionists, longevity people. He's a fitness freak. So on a recent podcast, Tom said, yeah, I think I'd take a call if somebody called and asked. Tom would have been the number 1 free agent quarterback this year. Russell Wilson, tiny, tiny market. Tiny. Basically, Steelers said, you're free, we'll take you. And Kirk Cousins is off an Achilles surgery. Tom would have been more interesting. So if you're great at something, a fitness freak, this isn't Drew Brees, where Drew Brees acknowledges he can't lift his right arm above his shoulder anymore. When he plays with his kids, he throws with his left hand. Let's just say the Minnesota Vikings call, Sam Darnold, slight injury, and whoever they draft at quarterback is not ready to play in that division with the Packers offense, the Bears with Caleb Williams, and the Vikings like their team. They're off to a 3-1 start. Look at what they would have. Kevin O'Connell, the tall Sean McVay, head coach. Brady, top 5 running back Aaron Jones, best receiver probably in the league Justin Jefferson, an excellent 2 Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, tight end, and maybe the best young left tackle probably in the sport, Christian Darrisaw. 7 elite people, including the head coach. Who's more gifted in the NFL offensively? Maybe San Francisco, certainly not at quarterback, than that. Nobody. I mean, Detroit's good. San Francisco's pretty good. They're not that. And by the way, Brady's last year in Tampa, 4,700 yards, 5 game-winning drives, 67% completion percentage, with no run game. No run game. They were last place. Led the NFL in attempts and completions. So it's different than Dan Marino. His knees were shot. Drew Brees, right arm was shot. Peyton Manning, physically shot. That's not what we have here. We have a quarterback for a variety of reasons that just sort of said, yeah, the Tampa thing's getting murky. I'm out. I mean, just think about this. Joe Flacco had not started a full season, had not been a starter for a full season since 2017, and is not the physical workout freak of Brady. Goes to the AFC North, tougher division, tougher conference than Tom Brady did, and he leads Cleveland to the playoffs. And Brady's all in on this longevity stuff. Brady's in on this pliability stuff. I don't think it's crazy. I'm not going to get into Tom broadcasting. I don't know what happens, but I'm just saying, if Minnesota called, what if Jared Goff went down? The Lions are not drafting a quarterback, I would suppose, early. Jared Goff goes down. With that offensive line, those weapons, you don't think Ben Johnson would say, if we thought about Colin Brady. Last year, over 50 quarterbacks played. And you're Detroit. You feel like you've got a young roster that you're not paying big money to this year or next. You got about a 2-year window in Detroit before you got to pay all these guys. Tom Brady goes, I'll come in on the cheap. You don't think Tom Brady, now I'm not saying right now he's as vibrant as Jared Goff, but the gap's not that big, is it? So some of these teams, like I get not building around him, but a phone call, swoop in, parachute in, Vikings, Lions. I mean, Brady chose Tampa. Why? Because all they needed was a right tackle and a receiver, Gronk, that he could trust. I mean, that was kind of it, right? They got that. You went and got Lenny Fournette. The roster was there. The division was winnable.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.